Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ProQuality Conference. My name is Vyacheslav, and I will be the host of today's session. Please say hi to our technical moderator, Timur, who is making this session run smoothly. And just a few minutes ago, we explored the fascinating world of metamorphic testing and its role in testing of AI-driven applications. I strongly recommend you to watch this session if you miss it. It's quite interesting and engaging, including a very interesting demo session. And now we are shifting gears to dive into the test automation process with a fresh perspective. And our speaker will share with us how adopting a lean startup mindset can make your automation process more effective and more efficient. Please join me in welcoming one of the headliners of ProQuality Conference, Igor Goldshmidt. Hi, Igor.
Hi, Vyacheslav. How are you, man?
I'm good. Hope you too. And Igor, I know that you have worked on so many impactful projects in the testing field. And I wonder what has been the most challenging part you have faced when it comes to, I don't know, reshaping automation strategy or implementing new automation process from scratch?
Uh, yeah, first of all, hi everyone, guys. Sorry for my voice. And yeah, before I answer your question, Vyacheslav, I joined here. So and my voice. I almost lost my voice in the morning. So it's always the time before conference. But about your question, I think when we're talking about testing processes and automation processes, from beginning, it's always can say different ways how you implement it. Because when you come to team or company and you want to give them some fast solution, you always starting from some gatekeepers, and it always starting from some kind of end-to-end, because you need, first solution that will get and catch a lot of things, critical things based on business. But when you start in the automation process, it's always starting from different points. You want to build great minimal blocks that give you some values. But your question is actually exactly what about what I'm going to talk in my talk today. So let's continue with more details how to do it automation and how to success with automation process when you be from beginning. And actually, it's about lean started mindset.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for just a quick introduction. What
Yeah,
we are
it
expecting in this
was
talk.
between. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
dear audience, don't forget to drop all your questions you have in our chat, and we will address them to our dear speaker in the end of the session. And also, if you enjoyed our session, show your appreciation by rating our event and sending a badge to Igor on our VIA community platform. All right, let's dive deep. And Igor, the stage is yours.
Thanks again. Okay, guys. Again, good morning. I hope you are after first coffee cup, and let's a little bit join to my conversation. I hope you will ask me questions during my talk in the channel. So I always trying to do it all my talks in type of discussion. So let's start. Actually, like we saw, we want to talk about transforming automation process with lean startup mindset. But I want to start from a couple numbers. If you take a last report from Catalan.com, we see that a little bit more than half of project got a positive ROI in general when we're talking about automation project. And I hope a lot of people here today it's working with automation process, automation projects, or maybe they using by automation, or maybe they build some automation solutions. So if we'll take a look on statistic, we understand that only half of our projects is success. What means success is bring us some kind of cost saving, because we always say, our companies say, okay, we want to bring some solution and cost saving on testing, on quality control, on automation in general, okay, or quality in general. So when we're talking about statistic from last year, we see that only half of project success. Okay, what about how much time it took for us to success? When we're talking, we take a look at the same report, but eroding timeline, we see that only for in first year, only 6%, little bit, percent it's success to give some or high level, very high level cost saving for businesses, for R&D projects. So this means it a lot of projects can, I think more than 19% of our projects in according to statistic from last year didn't success in first year. And let's say in my context, I'm from Israel, when you talk and say, okay, guys, in 90, more than 19%, it not, we not can't give you some cost saving from automation for startups, because more than half of company in Israel is startups. It sounds from beginning it's problematic. Why? Because 90 almost 19% of startups is failed after a couple years. So when they bring automation, they want some solution fast and furious. So how we can do it, and what we need to do to success in first year. And today, after all our talks that we heard about AI, and I actually work a lot of today with AI, I think we're talking about not about year, we're talking about months today. It's a new perspective, and I think we still don't have any statistic and understand it what actually our managers, our customers will expect it from automation. I think they expected that you can give them some ROI cost saving in couple months, not about year or years. So how we can do it and what can help us, we will talk about it today. But I want to start from story, because I always like stories and storytelling style. And say, so this time to say hello to my friend. His name's Skip or Skip. It's independent what language you decide. He's automation lead. And right now he started his first project as automation lead. He actually was hiring to build automation solution. And yeah, in his story, it was 1 year. I think today we need to take it in another context. And let's talk about how we can do it about month. But I hope this approach will help to Skip also next time, bring it to the one couple months. But okay, let's start. Skip starting a new company, new hiring team, and starting actually his job, and what he got from beginning. And he come to management staff and got first his request for testing what expectation from him. Guys from management say, okay, you know what? I know that automation is easy and fast. I want cover everything by automation. So Skip, please prepare some solution for your roadmap to bring me, cover everything for us, because we know that you have a lot of tools today. And again, not notes in side notes. Today AI, so you must bring actually everything, by automation. And I want to cover everything. This is always, I think you are guys, when you come into your role in automation, and if you lead in automation, we hear about it, this request a lot. Let's cover everything. Okay. Second, what he got from a management staff, it was okay. We want to cover everything, but how we actually know this way? Please start from end-to-end flows, and that was our next request from Skip when he's building a roadmap or plan his automation project from guys management, always trying to say, okay, when I think about how I cover it and how I can use in fast way by testing, automation testing end to end sound like good idea. What second one? It's always when we're talking about who is actually our customer. It sounds a lot of time when you come into your management, VP R&D, CTO, or maybe some middle management who's actually lead a project or manage project. He decides he's going to be main customer. So always this mindset and all decision is always start to be during big boss decisions. So when I start to think about how to build it, what we actually need, what feature in framework we need to do it, it's always he's come to big boss and big boss was decide what to do it. And additional mindset or request from management that's always coming from some kind mindset. We want to spend right now a lot of efforts, but from after a couple months, we want focus our effort on different things. So we expecting that automation it will be like one-time project, build, bring everything what you need, cover everything like we said before, and we want to run automation only one-time project. It's a lot of actually frequent automation requests from our management, and Skipper understand he's the same situation. So when we take a look on all basic or beginning set of mindsets that he got from management, he sees it's not looking by best practice, and it's actually looks like parts managing parts. It's failed and retry test, like we say in our jargon. It's skipper say, okay, I want to do it my job in best way, because if I will go to bed, it cover everything, or I will start from end to end test, and I will ask only my big boss about what he expected from automation. I will came to the same situations a lot of guys from our statistic in the last year found by self. Like you're trying to cover everything, so you wrote a lot of tests, you bring give a big framework with a lot of models, and what we had is a lot of lackiness. Never you bring actually result in fast way. After 1 year, you can find yourself with 300 or 400 tests in web, in mobile, in backend. But what's the problem? Problem is that nobody in company not actually decide according to your result in automation if we can bring some feature to next phase or not. Why? Because when you're trying to in automation it all cake in the one way, cover everything end to end, that we know end to end is bad idea. But what we said, management not always know all best practice. But anyway, how we can run its process and we get some values and get some success. So Skipper understand he's in a bad situation. He's come to me, to Igor Goldshmidt. I'm a quality architect in Skippersoft today, and I also owner of IGG Training Hub. And I work in QA a lot of more than 10 years. I also Israel testing champion. Yeah, it was one time in 2018, but yeah, we have also championships. If you don't know about it, I think it's check in your country. Maybe you have also. Like you say, see, I'm a worldwide speaker, and yeah, I wrote a lot of things in LinkedIn, Medium. So find me in LinkedIn and follow me or add to connection on. So he came to me, said, Igor, please help me. Let's do it some way. Understand what management want from me, but I want to success. I want to success and bring some value and bring cost saving ROI in first months. How we can do it? So first of all, when we're talking about Skipper, we say, okay, let's try to do it like in other projects and in other startups doing. They use lean startup methodology or approach. So let's try to work with lean automation. Okay, what is lean automation? We took like lean methodology that was described is with great way with Eric in book how to build fast and furious, how to adapt your product in best way to market, and everything is must be in loop. And when you learn, you prepare some MVP, you bring it to customer, get from them feedback, adapt from feedback to new version, and start work on this way. And it's in general what about lean, and we let's try to implement it in automation. Why? Because automation is the same product. It's really important to understand from first time, and when you come into company, you developers automation, or maybe you QA leads, but some who is work with automation. Automation is product, guys. We need to work with it. We need to manage life cycle for automation, like for generally software product. It must be with the same phases. You must be using is the same mindset. And to understand when you talk about automation project like a product, and you always share it, this mindset to your stakeholders and managers from beginning, they start to understand that automation can be like one shot project and that's all. Like software product, we have a lot of phases there, like, right? We planning, analysis, requirement, planning, and maintenance after when you deploy to the production. So same things automation. So let's try say, okay, if we agree that automation is the same like a product, software product, first of all, I said to Skipper, let's try in your company, in your place to understand what is the roles, who is your customers, who is a product manager will be in role of product manager and technical lead. And I think what are missing in almost in all companies that I worked with until today, they you don't actually have this, in describe roles like, okay, we have automation project. It's always like we have automation project. What next? We have some kind of lead and only a team or maybe a couple of people, automation engineer or developer or see that or whatever. That's all team who work on automation. But if it's not um, official description, but anyway, you need to find in your company who is be customer, who is be product manager, who is be technical lead. So how we doing and who is can be, like we said, customers, it's actually who is going to use by your automation project. Can be quality owners if for them it's more about maybe reports, or maybe they want to manage it by Jenkins and run nightly, etc. Maybe it's a testing team if your team is one and used by some tiny cycles automation by managed by labels and run some set of testing in every time of development cycle. So its requirements will be different. Or you want to dev team will be involved in coverage and using by automation. It can be when we're talking about dev team, it's not only about push your request and forgot, and we have some automation in pipeline. You can actually give them some kind of tools to run on local branch if you prepare it, your automation project. Okay, so this is first of all we need to understand who is our persons, who is the roles, who is the customers. Then we can continue with product managers. Same idea. Who is will be decide what actually our feature will be next. Maybe it's quality leaders, maybe it's dev leaders, because you want to come to dev leaders say, okay, guys, we have some basic framework version V1. Right now, we want to prepare some new features. We have backlog 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think is will be most important for you to continue to use by our product, our project, our automation? Okay, so it's always don't forget who is your customers, and from that, who is will be decide how to your automation framework will be look after couple sprints. And then don't forget about technical leaders. It's always automation. It's not some project can be standalone from side branch or some base code. It's always part of all our environments because you want to run in a dev environment or maybe a couple environment. Maybe you need to some generate some data for it, or you want to use by Grafana or something, some logs to use it and build some tests automatically. Or you want to be that your framework can give only some specific cases for couple needs, like we said, maybe in pull requests as part of pipeline, or maybe you want to give it to the developer team who can run it in locally. So for all this support, you need to always talk about with guys who's enroll architect or infra developer or DevOps. It's a technical lead, and you need to put all them on the role and share them, and maybe a little bit, join them to effort. Say, okay, guys, without you, I can't do it. This one and this one thing. So you need to understand what your peers and who is going to be technical leaders for it. When we talk about roles, so we said, okay, these are people. According to these people, we can understand what's customer pains and start to build something. So like we said, and as a main idea of lean startup, it's build some version, measure it, learn it from it, get some feedback, and repeat. So it's really important here to focus on pains, because if you don't give them some solution for developers' pains, it's always when you solve pains, it's always give you motivation from dev sides or from your customer to start to use it. And it's a main goal from automation leader projects is give them to your customers and give them motivation to start to use it, because you need all this loop. You need your feedback, and you need to understand what exactly you need to do in the next sprint and give additional features. So always start from pains. Okay, and your automation project come to not only give some reports or for your managers that he got some goals in I don't know, in KPI efforts. Here you need to give solution for pains your customers. Okay, so it's really important. Let's continue. So when we understand, okay, will be cycle. This is our customers, what we actually building. Here you can use it by MVP. I think a lot of guys here until today work with. One second, guys. Sorry, forgot my phone. Close it. So when we're talking about MVP, it's minimum viable product. It's the same like we want to bring to our customers some simple version of our product and give them a feedback. Like I said, if you understand exactly what was a pain from our customer, you can bring them something minimal, simple version for your product, for your automation, and bring them to start to use it until you continue deploy and develop some new version. What does mean? Like, let's say if you were decide or in a skipper story, it was backend team guys with a lot of API and multi-services. And like when we talk about multi-service, we have a lot of APIs, and it was Java. So for beginning, he's not trying to build big framework with a lot of functionality. He start only for really simple things. Took okay, he saw it's Java, so you say okay, let's take TestNG and let's assure it lab, and start to only work on APIs when he's, and it was only for local running. So for in pain points, if you want to give it, or you for testers, on his case it was developers, you want to give them some minimal solution. So you bring all critical passes by API, and it was only running like script on local machine. Uh, Bring to a couple of the developers who was ready to start to use it, because it was for them pain when they decide or work on some microservice, and if they want to validate that they broke anything in local branch, so they start using. But so in this case for Skip, it was automation minimal viable product, some script, some part of, I don't know, test and G, rest assured it's base code. I don't know how much it was, 100 lines, run on local by CLI. That's all, guys. It was work about couple days, a couple, maybe it's about 1 week, but today it will be take couple days, maybe if I think about less, with all AI, cloud, and what tools that we have from a Gen AI. Okay, so when we're talking about, so in Skip, it was short flows, API based, fast feedback, a minimal setup, like I said, Java, TSNG, rest assured. After that, it was a short integration with Jenkins, and from beginning, you actually have some option to run in or from Jenkins or from CLI, and used by APIs. And what is a good idea from here? Actually, guys, you bring this first MVP, and you continue work on coverage. So all infra where you run in the test is actually right now on base code, and you can continue to cover, continuously cover and add new test cases from API based. Okay, so it's always great idea to give it to our customer or developers or testers, and then you can continue, just continue with coverage, bring more tests, and the same guys just put in a push new version or pull new version on his local brain and can run it. So it's always great idea to take a look on the, and actually they start to be beta tester for you. But anyway, so I think we got what is mean MVP, and what's really important after that strategically when you work on MVP or automation project, it's always running not about uh, cover everything. Like we said, it's always bad idea and it's bad practice. Try to find your 20% Pareto principles. I I think almost in every project you can, in beginning, after risk management and risk analysis and technical analysis, to understand what actually your 20% of coverage will be, give you 80% of value. Maybe it's a critical process, maybe it's some infra methods or functionalities that actually can break a lot of logic in all systems, so you will need to start from there. So always don't try to run everything. Actually, spend your time to understand what is your 20% of Pareto. Okay, so when you bring MVP plus Pareto principle, you can you can start from only with API test, focus on short flows. Don't try build end to end, because we know end to ends cost a lot of maintenance and it's always flakiness. It's bring us to situations that we need instead develop new feature and bring new coverage for your automation project, instead that we maintenance what we have until now. Find your 20% of coverage that give you 80% of value. No flaky UI test, just clean backend confidence. Okay, it's just for example, but I think it's always good idea to start from APIs. Develop could run test anyway, anytime, in any branch. So it's like we said, in this case, a customer, it was developers. It's really important to bring and give them this tool. What really important understand, that it's continuous development process and deployment process. We need to work with incremental development. That's mean and continuous learning improvement. That's mean that when you start your automation project, you need to decide one of methodology, maybe Scrum or Kanban, and bring for you guys in automation team, some sprints where you're going to manage a backlog. You're going to share your backlog and plans with, like we said, who is a product or who is a stakeholders, and bring them your progress. So instead, to it's a great approach to present and share to your management, because management who said I need everything to coverage everything and end to end, give them, okay, you know what, I don't want to ask from you 3 or 4 months until I give you some results. Be in my part, be agile. I want to be transparent for you and bring you trans, traceability. Wow. Sorry, guys. What I'm actually doing and what you will get and what value you get every 2 weeks or sprint or months. But you need to work in incremental model and bring them more and more understanding what actually you're doing and what value you bring in every sprint, like in software product, every software product. Okay. So when you start working incremental deployment, you have time to continuous learning and improve it, because we want to first customer from beginning, right? To say. So when you push new feed, new version, you talk with your customers. Maybe it's a tester, maybe developers, maybe you guys, and you use it and say, okay, it was good. Here I need to, I don't know, some adapter for database, because I want to also validate data from database after some functional manipulation by APIs. So it's something that you give feedback. You understand, okay, right now I'm not going to try build UI. Maybe I still can continue with API and bring more functionality availability to my framework on API level. So again, it's dependent content, dependent your customers, dependent your product. But when you start in this process, you always find better way. So guys, in Skipper, in Skipper case, in Skip case, it was actually 3 months to give them 40, I don't know why we're talking 80% backend functionality covered by API, run availability for framework, run what, where, and when you want. It was API test only, but it was not only covered API, it was functional coverage by API and also API, fast, trusted, and stable. So it's really important when you start with automation, it must be trusted and stable. So it was case for Skip, 3 months. Guys, today, like we saw also talked before, we're talking about weeks, I think. Because when I come in today to startups as a solution architect, and we talk always about automation for MVP, we're talking about a couple of weeks. Okay, so it's what expecting from us, and I think when you also work on your skills or what expect and understand what management can expect it from you, so you need to work about how fast you can bring it, because technologically we have everything, cloud, cursor, everything, it can bring you everything, but a process, the same process. So it's really important, take a process, take a new Gen AI tools, and you're going to run fast. It's not going to be 3 months, it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks, okay, 1 month. Anyway, so what I can say, guys, in for final, I hope you will get no more fraud projects. Build smart automation and start from this point. Take a lean approach for that. And good luck, guys. And yeah, fart, it's a fail and rest right test. Uh, Vyacheslav, I think it's a time for, I don't know what about our timing. Actually, I didn't
Yeah,
look, but we
we
have
have
time.
time. Yeah, of course.
Great, great. So was good children, child, and bring exactly to the time. Yeah, so time for questions.
Yeah, time for Q&A part. And if you haven't sent any questions, yes, guys who are watching us, that's the right moment. So type them, and we will address to Igor. And Igor, thank you for engaging, and I would say thought-provoking presentation. I believe that your insight into automation process are sure to inspire our audience to at least rethink automation
Yeah.
approach in their projects.
I hope it was a goal. And guys, if you don't ask me questions, I start with my jokes. And my joke, I will start from my jokes, and my jokes not always good going in English. They, it's not good idea. So guys, ask me questions.
Okay, we have a couple of questions, and let's start with them. Yep. And also, just in a moment, so you see the QR code on the screen. So please scan the QR code or follow the link that we sent in the chat to rate our event. Give a badge to our speaker if you enjoy the talk. So here is some guideline how to do it. Pretty easy. Um, Okay, and let's move to the Q&A session. And the first question is, Igor, what strategy would you suggest using if the team decides to implement in sprint automation, where the story isn't closed or delivered until the automation is done?
Like we said, actually, answer for this question depend how much mature your automation framework or product. Because I always said in during the timeline, you bring a lot of new functionality to your project. So sometimes give them some automated coverage solution for feature in sprint. It's for automation team, or maybe it's also a QA team using automation and writing automation test. So it's minimal effort, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Plan your work also like in sprints, because when you pay, if you're using by shift left and you part of planning, there you can actually align what expected from automation. Like you said, same activities that a QA engineer or QA or test engineer doing about feature in part of planning, he's running, analyzing, and understand what we actually he need for covering it in manual or maybe by automation. So same page with automation, you need to be there, understand what actually will be next feature, and you can share it. Say, okay, guys, this feature we can cover it in sprint because we have all building blocks or all steps for implementation. We need only one page object, add a new page object, and maybe a couple clicks. It's a so you need to from process perspective, you just need to be in planning, and I think there you can first of all give them requirements from for developers team to understand what you need as automation to success cover it as part of your sprint. Second, I think today we will see increasing all automation is complete automation during sprint, because again, development process also automation today it's fast run, and it's I think we still didn't understand what we need to expect from our developers, but you know, you can for everyone can put couple lines, bring understand it in prompt engineering, give them infrastructure ready for coverage, and you can write test in even in 1 hour. So I think this story about what suggestion, first of all, anyway, plan it, And second, start to using by Gen AI tools in development process. And I think two the things increase your coverage sprint in coverage automation will be increased.
Yeah, and don't increase the time for lead time for the stories. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's a additional pain things
yeah.
for stories.
Okay, cool. Let's move to the next question. The next question is from Maria. How can I convince the client that it's better to have fewer stable tests than that we are confident in, rather than a large number of tests that are unstable and we don't know what exactly they check?
Actually, answer in already in a question. When you have tests and you don't know what exactly they check, it's we already have a problem. And I think again to my presentation, when you start from, if you have, let's explain again a different way. If you say, okay, I have a stable test, that not mean that give to somebody value effort, and maybe it's not solving the problem. So if I covered something that was something in my system or in my product, and it was easy to cover it, and it's stable because every nobody to change it. So, but it's give it to anyone value during sprint. So yeah, it's a better idea to say, okay, guys, we have a lot of tests and models because and nobody care about it. So if I'm talking about stable test, is stable test need to solve to somebody pain. So it's not about stability, it's about if your test solving problem, it's really easy to come with these guys, with developers and say, guys, you see, these developers really happy to use my automation because they understand when they run and they actually give them effort and spend effort, yeah, and help them to understand if they can continue. And with these developers, you can come to any stakeholders and say, this table test, pain, if you want to something additional test cases, let's talk about what exactly you want to paint. What's a problem you want to solve by testing? Not talking about amount of testing. Always talk about what pain and what goal. Actually, we started. It's took us to this discussion about strategy. Don't do it anything in automation without strategy or without some understandable and measurable goals, because cover everything or something that you need to measure it after that. So it's, I know I take a couple points right now, but what I'm saying, first of all, validate if your strategy, if it's a strategy, understandable strategy bring you to the goals of management. Then when you starting to solve your pains and cover it by automation, start from pains, and then be create some shared process with stakeholders where you are, where you will be in couple months, and why actually it's bring today value to your customers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And I think that if we inherited such such tests that are unstable, so we should firstly review such cases here, understand whether they bring any value, and if not, we can feel free to remove them at all. Yeah, if there is just tests without verifying nothing.
Just put a comment on the code, and that's all.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, Igor. And the next question is from Ksenia. Can you share strategies that teams can use balance the need for rapid automation delivery to meet short-term goals with the long-term maintainability and scalability of the automation suite?
Great question. Actually, I think I need to talk about it, but balance. I think to understand a balance, if you will take a timeline, it always and I said, okay, it's all my effort that I have, I don't know, X hours. In beginning, it's infrastructure. It will be long-term maintenance or long-term projects, or it will be always in beginning a lot of, and then because you always cover starting work on it, and you cover your infrastructure and a new functionality, I don't know, a new integration, a report system. But in some point after X time or sprints, you always come to some points in time to say, okay, we have all infrastructure right now. Let's work on coverage more, maybe some fine tuning, maybe you understand we want more detailed report. So so it depends. Answer it depends where you are right now. This first. Second, like I said, if you start working for automation project in some kind of Scrum or Agile, or you plan sprints or iteration, so it's can be like developers teams always have percent hours, how much you want to spend on features and how much you want to spend on infra. So same it must be an automation project. Like decide, okay, we right now in beginning. So from you, I think you're going to spend a lot of time for long-term maintenance or scalability projects in your automation, and coverage on future. It will be, I don't know, a list. Yeah. So after that, when you have your infrastructure is mature and you want to work only, I don't know, maybe it will be only project until now, until this point you work only in web and API, you want to start working on Android, but always it's planning in decision in planning what actually right now is more important, and share it with the decision makers. Again, who is decision makers? Like we said, decide who is your roles, who is the product owners of all this automation, and you just keep bring down them on the table what exactly you have on the backlog. You say, okay, right, guys, we want to start to work with mobile testing coverage, or we want to continue with features. Right now, I need to understand how I manage my resources, and give them to decide, because maybe they have strategic understanding that mobile is more important. Okay, let's continue. This will be 80% of our resources on mobile development, because all mobile, it's always like said in a culture way, it's always opium, all this stuff. It's pain and bad things. You need to spend it a lot of time. Maybe today with AI we will spend the least, but on the other hand, you need to continue with coverage your product with test, feature test, and so it must be in the plan to decide, sit with your management or stakeholders to decide and manage it. So it's a will be a balance. I don't think we can have some general answer 50 or 50 or something like that. No. If you don't have process, build this process, and then you will be aligned with all stakeholders who is a part of our development project, automation project.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Thank you. Cool. Let's move to the next question. Is it easy to convince management on bringing 80% value with 20% coverage? To share your own experience with an example. Also, what foundation knowledge is required to present it to management teams?
I will say it's all this answer is starting from a testing basics or testing analysis skills. When you because to understand why it's a lot of risk management, but to bring and understanding what actually will be a 20% of coverage. First of all, you need to be in balance between understanding what the critical passes of product business flows and technical implementation. And it's two things really critical to understanding what exactly I need to cover to verify a lot of things. Like I said, if you work with APIs, and in example of Skip, in company, it was multi-services, but was one main service of decision maker. it's a company who is working with transport solutions, like how to bring somebody from point A to point B, and you need to bring them some path to ride, and you need to connect them. So on main service who's decide who will you take and how you need to run and what you actually need. So you understand this. A lot of services dependent on all this service. If this service will be with problem, a lot of bugs you got also in additional services too. So here you can understand. But again, what I'm describing right now, it's technically understanding how things work on your project. So always, like we expected from QA test, whatever engineers, to understand also how it's our customer using and what actually how it's work. Don't you need? I don't think that we need to understand it what every line, but we need to understand what every service doing, what every endpoint doing, where he took all data is from a SQL database, or maybe it's MongoDB, is maybe dynamic. And I think when you bring your to place that you understanding firsthand, like every QA technical implementation. Second, what's a business risks? Like let's take when I'm talking about like a Get Taxi, it's a company. You understanding from first time, from first minute in the company, it's a critical path. It's create order and create right from a point A from point B. Every features, a lot of feature around, not so important right from when you building the automation. So first of all, you will bring some automations that work on only on create some new right. So that's I think it's a best approach. Drill down, understand how things work, what actually every endpoint doing, what actually every service doing, why you and when you use it by database, and what depend on database. One hand, second hand, learn your customer of your here I'm talking about customer of your company, your software product. Understand what actually for them is really critical. And when you bring this together, you find some amount of functionality, understanding what actually you can want to cover it and how. I hope
Thank you.
I answer.
Thank you so detailed answer and given quite much more interesting insights from your own experience. And we have one, I think, time for one more question, maybe for the last one. And if any other questions, we will move to the our talk page and ask our speaker to answer them there. So the last question for today's session is such a great from Oksana, such a great avatar on your slide, no missing around. So question is, based on your experience, how quickly can manual testers typically start and fully support automation tests?
Question answer, it's depend. It's depend on person. I don't think that any my experience it's related actually how quickly you can start it. It's really dependent. Let's if you are I don't know what Oksana is what position, but I said if you are QA manager or team leader and you work with some person who is with you more than 1 year, and until today this person not starting using by scripts or maybe trying his skills in postman automation or something like that, this person it always will be harder to bring him to automation and use it by, because it must be today is mind. I always say it's some kind of mindset that said, okay, I'm lazy enough to do it same work every day and every time. So I want to automate it. I want to use it by it. And so it's a one point of my answer. Another way, I said maybe today, with all Gen AI, I know I'm talking about a lot, but it's our reality today. Moving from, I hate the manual tester, how it's called.
Activities.
Yeah, I hate a manual whatever. I always say it. We always all engineers, we test engineers, QA engineers, but we need to work as engineers. And when you talk about my role is engineers, you always start to think about how I can do it my work in the best way. And when you talk about how I can do it my work in the best way, from here you can start, okay, this is type of test and these scenarios will be better for manual. This is approach will be great for exploratory testing. But this one and this one, like APIs, everyone who's worked with APIs finds that you can, anyway, you put it in the Postman. So in Postman you have bot, we just work with them couple hours and with tutorial, or maybe today with ChatGPT it will be take 1 hour, and you can automate it everything there. So it's mindset how you can do it your work in the best way. It's in general my mindset. So from here I say, if manual testers want to move to automation, first of all, if somebody think about it, it's great, guys, because today you must to think about it. It's must have, because I think with like I said, with AI, no places to be manual tested, or maybe it's places for manual, only manual tests will be discrete, really hard. But so I think take a ChatGPT and all understand it how who is ChatGPT can explain it, all everything about code, about how to code it and write automation test. So with this approach, AI plus tester and infrastructure, if you have already infrastructure in your team, it will be really quick moving from only manual and to start using automation. But again, it really depends on this person. A lot of people, then also in Israel, still thinking that can be only, oh, no, I'm manual. I don't know what is scripts. I don't know what is, I don't know, terminal, and I don't want to touch it because I'm manual. No, guys, you are engineers, test engineer, QA engineer, automation engineers, and when you engineer, you need to bring to your team, to your company, best solutions. And best solution today, automation, exploratory, shift left approaches, and AI. So that's my question. And it was like,
Final statement for today.
yeah, it
For
was
today's
last
talk.
statement. Yeah, exactly. And exactly in 12 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Igor, one more time, thank you for being with us, and it was a real pleasure having you at ProQuality conference. Dear listeners, thank you for being part of this session. Presentation deck will be uploaded very soon on our talk page, as well as video recording that will be available in a month after the conference. And don't miss our next session in the evening, where we will continue exploring ways how to optimize test automation process. So stay tuned, join ProQuality community in our social networks, and see you in few hours in the evening for our next talk. Igor, thank you one more
Bye,
time, and
guys.
have a good
Thank you
rest
so.
day. Bye.
Bye, guys.